Welcome back, everyone. Today, we are going to be discussing some very exciting things that have happened, and I'm going to be reviewing a game. So, first off, let me just say that this is I got a review copy for this. Full disclosure, I have been asked to review this, and I'm very excited to do so, because after looking over it, I think that it's a very solid system, and it's very cheap, and you get a ton of value for your money. So you can find it on DriveThruRPG. There will be a link down in the description to Sabre 2nd Edition from Dragonsbane Entertainment, which I believe was the creative project of not very many people over the course of, 7 years of development. This is the 2nd edition of the game, and there are a bunch of different core rulebooks, but they're all super cheap. So I think if you spend $20, you get like 800 pages of stuff, but really the main rulebook is $5. And let me see if I can't show you a little taste of what it is you're going to be getting. One moment. Let me try to move this to a new window. I have too many tabs open. So this system is not a horror system I mean, I guess you could use it for horror, and that's one of the things that makes it very, very, very unique, is that it is kind of made to be usable for any situation. So no matter what, if you're playing fantasy, if you're playing science fiction, no matter what, you're going to be able to use Sabre as your system for it. So it's a very inclusive of every single genre, and I really like that about it. So here we go. There we go. And I apologize if my screen is all glitchy. Once again, my settings got all messed up. That needs to go... There we go. Okay, so let me pull this up. Now, this is the fantasy book, all right? And here's the thing. There are two core rule books. There's science fiction and fantasy. I believe there's also a free test or quick start rules, right? Each of the PDFs that I saw on DriveThruRPG were $5, okay? Very, very, very cheap. Then you look in here and you see some gorgeous artwork, first of all. Very, very, very nice. It's got premium on it because it's not the quick start or whatever. So, Sabre, 2nd edition, Fantasy Core Rulebook Premium. So let's see. There's some contributors. I'm not entirely sure exactly what that means, but it's mostly Stephen L. Nowland, I believe. Project design, character art, contributors. Okay. So before I get too deep into this, here's a little spoiler or disclaimer. Sabre's mechanics and structure are based in part off of the Mithras, I think, open game license. And the design mechanism makes no representation or warranty as to the quality, viability, or suitability for the purpose of this product. Yeah. Well, if Mithras isn't going to do it, I think I will. So, first of all, let's take a look at these contents. You can see here, there is so much in this system. And that is one of my favorite things about it. And you know me, I like rules light systems. And this is a little bit too much towards the more it's a medium rule set, I guess you could call it. So maybe not something I'd run all the time. I'm willing to try it out. But for that type, I think it's the best I've ever read. Far better than Dungeons & Dragons for a $5 PDF, longer than a D&D core rulebook, and I find it more useful for role-playing than Dungeons & Dragons is. So you've got, first off, you've got a bunch of different races, And all of these races, and there's different ones in the fantasy and the science fiction books, right? And I think, so an overview of the books are there's a fantasy book, a science fiction book, a fantasy like Bestiary, and a science fiction book for like the star combat. I think that's correct. Like fighting and using spaceships and stuff. And also just a bunch of information on the spaceships themselves, and all those statistics are in the spaceship book. And I'm pretty sure there is a science fiction bestiary coming very soon. I'm pretty sure he has announced that on BRP Central. You can go see what some other people have to say about it on BRP Central. So far, it's been overwhelmingly positive. We've got lots and lots of positive reviews. There's been one or two people who were like, there's just so much. And that really, to me, is kind of the highlight of this system, is just how much you have. I believe these are all links to different... They are. Yep. Okay. So one nice thing is that the layout of the PDFs are gorgeous. You've got so much content here. You can definitely see how it's a labor of love over the course of, 7 years of creating stuff. So another thing that I found very interesting was how each class, each race and whatnot had very unique things that made them what they are. Like Dungeons and Dragons, each character kind of conforms to the rules. In this game, you kind of build your own... I wouldn't say you build your own rules, but I will say that it seems almost like each class kind of has their own rule set almost. And that makes them all, and the races too. Everything about it makes it very unique. It's based off of BRP, right, with the values of the percentages and stuff, and the modifiers. But it is a little bit... with the combat style, a little more D&D-ish, except there is no huge health. And you know me and how much I hate combat in Dungeons & Dragons. This seems to have sorted out that problem while still keeping a little bit of a power gamey feel to it, with a lot of ways to customize your character. Plus, let's go back to the table of contents. Yeah, there's just so many different ways for anyone to customize their characters. There's a lot of lore as well, which I found very interesting. It's a fully fleshed out world. A lot of these races are original creations. Maybe not dwarf or elf, but a lot of the other ones are. You've got lots of different stuff for like druidly, psionic discipline, shamans, that's what it is. Sorcery, wizardry, lots of different types of magic, and this is specifically just the fantasy one. There is, again, a science fiction one as well, and there will be a link to everything Sabre 2nd Edition related in the description, and I highly encourage you to at least check out the free quick start or whatever. And again, $5, I would support this game because it's a labor of love that was very, very, very well made. Again, I will repeat that I feel like this game has more to it than D&D does. One thing that I noticed was that there's not a ton of Game Master advice. So you've got, let's go over it. You've got step-by-step character creation, the characteristics, the professions. Yeah, I think it's called professions, not classes. My mistake. The threat level, skills, talents, equipment, the game mechanics, right? And for game mechanics, obviously there's, a little bit of Game Master advice. There's not a ton like you would have with Dungeons and Dragons, but there is a lot of there's quite a bit of lore throughout this whole thing, so there's a lot for you to take out of it. Then let me see what's right here. Game Master reference sheet. you've got an example of play, accolades, and advancement. So another thing that I found interesting was the way you level up, and it is a little bit slow. The way you gain... I'm not gonna tell you everything about the system, but the way that you gain the experience, it's a slow burn, but as you stack on the different, and again, highly customizable. So while it seems like most of the professions or whatnot have their own rule set almost, they all can kind of build off each other, and they can draw from each other. And there is no, like, multi-classing. You can, like, create a character that draws from multiple different things. You don't even need to call it a multi-class because it's just normal. So there is so much, and it seems like that's the focus of this rule book, is there's a lot of emphasis on your character and the infinite possibilities to the reaches of power your character can attain. And then obviously the monster rule books have more lore. They have a bunch of monsters. The Starship mechanics were pretty good. They were pretty streamlined, not too complicated. Small disclaimer, there was 800 pages of material that I was given. I did not read every word of it, okay? I will probably continue reading it because I find it a very intriguing system. And I will say there is a ton to go off of throughout everything in here. So, but again, I will say then you've got some combat. And combat reminded me a little bit of what I've been reading in RuneQuest. Not exactly, but a little bit. Some maneuvers, you will remember that from Call of Cthulhu. And then a lot on magic. And when I started playing Dungeons & Dragons, and to this day, and when I play D&D with my friends who run, I love magic, and I find Call of Cthulhu's take on magic very interesting. I love the idea of making each spell almost a scene as opposed to a utility purpose, but that's just me. But anyway, my point is I really like magic in systems. I like reading the different spells, and I find spell casting to be a much more entertaining character to play, anyone who uses spells. And this game has a ridiculous amount of spells, and pretty much everything else too. So yeah, then you've got skill list, traits, glossary of terms, open game license, and the character sheet. Let's take a look at the character sheet. All right, so here now you've got a threat level, and I think that's kind of like your level, right? And again, there's a lot to take in and absorb when you're going through this. There's attributes, which are pretty much the characteristics from Call of Cthulhu or anything like that. The skills, right? You got your skills. Profession skills. There's a lot of different profession skills. Sorry, this is glitching. My computer's being weird today. Race and traits, background events, contacts, maneuvers, portrait. Okay. Talents. Yes. So the major way of leveling up is through accruing talents in the game, and these will stack up on top of each other. And through creative ways of taking in new talents, you can build pretty much any characters and any type of powers you could ever imagine a character having. So very interesting. Then you've got a spell sheet. Then you've got the non-player character sheets, which are a little bit more streamlined. Yeah, much shorter, 1 page. So there is my main complaint with the 2 core rule books, is that there's not a ton of game master advice. Maybe there's more on the way, because I did see some things on the site that I did not get into. I really hope my thing hasn't been glitching this whole time. If it has, I'm going to be so mad. Encoding overloaded. Consider turning... Yeah, whatever. Screw it. I'll watch it before I upload it. So, yeah, I found this system to be worth its weight in gold. And for $5. Are you kidding me? So, yeah, my takeaways are a very good system. I want to try running it. I do have RuneQuest lined up, so maybe not yet, but eventually I think I might try running it. There is a lot to go into it. There's so much to digest. There's so much content there for your money. And yeah, I highly recommend the game. 9 out of 10, I guess. Yeah, 9 out of 10. So 8.7 out of 10. There you go. Mainly because of the lack of... I'm a game master at heart, and to me this book, and maybe I just haven't seen a game master book. This book is more of the rules and a player's guide, right? Go check out the site, because this video was uploaded, on the 14th of May 2020, and hopefully, and they might have added stuff by now. So go check out the system. They're going to be updating it soon, and they're going to keep on, adding to it, because they've been working on this for a long while, and they have just dropped a bomb, so to speak. And yeah, the system seems very fun, and I am very thankful that I was given a review copy for it. And yeah, I like it. So yeah, again, link down in the description. Go check it out. There's a free version, so why not, right? Yeah, and well, this is a short video, so before I sign off, I just want to say thank you guys very much for getting us to 250 subscribers. That was awesome. And stay tuned for our live stream, our upcoming Call of Cthulhu live stream. It's going to be on Saturday, and this Saturday at 5. If you have not seen my latest short film, go check it out. I think I'll put a link over here, or not a link, but like an end screen. So anyway, thank you very much for watching. I hope that you enjoy the Sabre system. It's in its 2nd edition, and yeah, it deserves the highest praise because it's really good. So thank you very much for watching. Yeah, that's about it. Thank you. Deathstroke 9 out. Until future reference.